All right, Cardinals fans, happy Victory Monday. It's time for the Red Rain Podcast, episode 184. Please welcome in your host, Walter Mitchell.
Thank you, Little Rock Ledbetter. 184. We'll dedicate this to Higgy Bear, who I thought had a great game yesterday. Higgy Bear looked huge. And he's number 84. So welcome back to Saguaro Sam. You might know him as Since 61. That's his tag. She's a fan since 1961. He's got me beat by 2 years. I was 63. And Kyle, we worked out, was 2003 when he was like 2 years old or something like that. So we got it all worked out that way. Welcome, gentlemen, on another Victory Monday. Woo! I think my blood pressure's come down a little since the fourth quarter yesterday. I could hardly breathe. It was one of the most potentially epic fourth quarter meltdowns imaginable. And but Captain Calais, God bless him, and his second sack of the day slammed the door shut on what could have been just the most agonizing comeback victory over the Cardinals ever. So feeling relieved. Love that we're 2-0. Concerned about the cornerback situation with the guys that were injured. We'll talk about that, but we want to go right to the highlights and we got 12 plays queued up, and we're going to hit them rapid fire and just discuss the gist and some technical aspects of these highlight plays or low light plays too. All right. What a way to start the game. Cardinals getting sweaty right off the bat. And with this, look at sweat coming on a twist up the middle. Oh, and Zaven with the presence. Zaven's like Johnny on the spot. You know, he's made to order for that. Look at how he had the presence to scoop it and barrel roll it into the end zone without being touched until it was too late. But dialing up a exotic pressure right from the start. What a great way to start the game. I don't know too many Cardinals games that I've seen, and Sam can vouch for this, where the Cardinals started with a strip sack TD on defense and ended the game, a tight game, on a sack at the last play, last meaningful play of the game. And in between, there was one other sack by Calais, I believe. But wow, what a way to start. Your thoughts, Sam?
Terrific start. They came out and did what we expected them to do. And again, it was a tale of two halves. One half was one half they played complete football on all sides of the ball, on all sides of the team. And second half, well,
yeah,
like you said, it was a nail biter.
Fourth quarter blues. You just love it when a play is perfectly executed. I mean, and then it opens up like, you know, the Red Sea in the middle for Sweat to come twist right around. I believe that is Dalvin Tomlinson. And boy, oh boy, and he got to Bryce before Bryce could really react. And credit to Bryce, showed us his character. This is an awful way to start. And then so let's get to the Browning interception. So we started with the sack, and then now this. Penetration.
They come on 3rd and 11.
Boom.
Young is blown.
That is
and it is picked.
Mac Wilson Sr.
Intercepted by
That is his forte, rushing the passer from the linebacker position. He is dynamic at it. He is fantastic. Look at this. Again, right through the middle, right into Bryce Young's face, and then gets the deflection, boom, high in the air. Great track of the ball by Baron Browning, who was Johnny on the spot on that play. Might have been a pick six, too, if he somehow eluded that one tackler. But not going to get greedy with that. It was a wonderful, fantastic play.
It was a great way to start the game. Great play call.
Isn't it? And great pressure. Why you would ever want to take that kind of pressure off is just mystifying to me. But again, we're going to get to that later.
Yeah.
Kyle, what's your thought on the Browning interception?
Well, on the Browning play, I thought it was interesting. I'm going to see if I can pull up the highlight real quick again. But on the Panthers side, when the blitz comes in, you see, I don't know, I think it's a Kwanu, I want to say, is the offensive lineman on this play. But you see where, here, sorry, I'm just pulling it back up again. You see right here on the outside, you've got pass rush here taking away Bryce's ability to roll to his right, which so many quarterbacks see in this play. Even like Sam Darnold now. I'm not even saying like Mahomes or Burrow or guys like that. You see them escape to the right. Now all of a sudden your blitz has been blown up. And you know, the play extends. Now you've got one-on-one coverage, all the stuff like that. But what makes this play is number 10 coming off the edge, sealing the outside. So then kind of is stuck here, moving to his left, but stuck in the pocket. And that's what forces Wilson to end up making that play. So while Wilson's obviously going to get credit there, number 10 right there, beating the right tackle off the edge is really going to be what makes this play for the Cardinals.
The other thing I'll add to that is I think this is Tomlinson here on the other side. He's keeping his outside shoulder free, which is just what you're taught to do when you have contain on a side. And he clearly has contain to Bryce's left. And that's a factor on this play. He maintains it. And boom. Wow, what a great rush. Great rush by Mac Wilson. Wilson. We're playing Castaway, baby. He's our Wilson. All right, so on to the next. I wanted to get this in here early because I thought this was one of the best plays of the day offensively for us. It's the deep middle pass from Kyler to Trayshawn.
Look at that. Wow.
Trayshawn, baby.
It was the longest pass of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. The perfect hole shot. Those in the zone. Man, one quick move and he might have been all the way gone. And oh man. More of this, please. More of this. And I thought for 3 quarters, except for early sluggishness, man, the Cardinals came out sluggish on offense. It wasn't as agita-filled and as it was the week before at the beginning, but it was just, I don't know, just looked, the energy didn't feel right, you know, and it took a while for them to get going. But once it got going, I would say Petzing from the later portion of the first quarter to the end of the third quarter did a fabulous job of dialing up plays. And it's mind-boggling to me that after these games, everybody wants to fire Petzing. We'll get to that too. I mean, you want diversity in the passing game. You just got it. All right. You just got it in this game. Hasn't happened like that in a while. So kudos to the way the Cardinals blocked that. And kudos to the way that Kyler threw it on the money. And now we're going to see right before the end of the half. How about this play off a timeout? Go ahead, Michael Wilson.
9 seconds left. Kyler, Michael Wilson,
Bingo.
back to the end zone. 20-3 at the half.
Fire Petzing, he sucks. He's awful. I mean, come on. That's a perfectly dialed up play off of a timeout. And Kyler buys time like he did last week a little bit on a late developing mesh TD. Buys time with a little bit of an extra 3-step drop, plants his foot and fires a dart, which Wilson has the presence of mind to get both feet, catch perfectly, and get both feet in.
You know, it's interesting on this play. So it's hard to see it because they kind of pan the camera away here. But with 9 seconds left and the Cardinals have no timeouts, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 Panthers dropping back into coverage there. And then you've got 1, 2. It's a strange formation, but because again, they want to tackle them down in bounds. You've got 4 back. You've got 4 rushing the passer. And then these guys kind of in no man's land right here. And you've got one person stuck on McBride. You've got this guy kind of in a zone on MHJ. And it's basically just one-on-one coverage. I'm shocked that the Panthers allowed them to get behind the defender on that play. But
well, here's how they do it. Go back and run it. And this is part of the genius of the play. Look at McBride coming over the middle. He just drew everyone's attention with that long pass earlier, and it's drawing the safety. It's freezing the safeties to where Wilson's going to be able to split. It's commanding the attention of the safeties. Now, here's the other thing is, you called it really well, Kyle. There were 4 back, 3 under. All right. The Cardinals had 5. Essentially going 5 go routes and keeping them spread out. So you're putting a 5 on 4.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting there too. So you see, MHJ kind of is coming across the middle on this one too. So you've got that safety drawn in on Marvin. Right. You've got that safety drawn in on McBride, and you're right. I think a lot of the well, also you have the linebackers shadowing both of them as well. So now you've essentially double covered both of them. And if you're only dropping 7 back at that point, like you said, you're basically in one-on-one coverage for everyone else. And yeah, it's just a great play call by the Cardinals to then just tell Michael Wilson, just go past the defender, just run to the back of the end zone, basically.
It's called a skinny post. And so, and oh my gosh. I mean, what sets it up are like you said, Trey and Marv being perfect decoys. There's no question this was where we were going to go on this play, was to M. Willie.
I think
it wasn't another read anywhere else. They felt they could decoy the safeties enough to get that skinny post. And it was a flat out dime. And like last play of the first half, how often do we get a touchdown like that? And that's not being conservative. They could have kicked a field goal right then. They stayed aggressive. They had a chance to take maybe even 2 shots at the end zone. This we want more. We want passing into the end zone.
What was it?
Not underneath it as much as they've been doing in the past.
Yeah, what was really impressive is they ran this play with just 4 seconds left in the half.
Exactly.
They could have kicked a field goal or been conservative. They had 2 timeouts remaining. And really, it was a gut punch to the Panthers.
Correct.
And
I think
right before halftime. Yeah. Right before halftime. And it just goes to show you what the Cardinals can accomplish when they stay aggressive.
Exactly.
Now, as you said, we're going to get into it later, but that aggressiveness was not displayed in the second half. And that's why with the huge lead, I think it was 20-3 at halftime, we had to watch a nail biter for the rest of the game.
Right. Although, no, I mean, we did get things going on offense. We saw the best of Kyler and the worst of Kyler. In fact, let's show the best of Kyler right now. I mean, we're moving the ball. We have a chance to really put this thing away. Even with a field goal, makes it 3 touchdowns, a 3-touchdown lead. Whoop, whoop, whoop,
You got
whoop.
scramble to the right, to the middle, back to the left. How about that? Take it down all the way inside the 20. Little flip of the ball at the end right there. What an incredible play.
Ran 60 yards to get 30. Now, here's what I love about this play. Kyler moves forward. He makes a juke and comes forward. What Kyler needs to learn, and still in his 7th year, is this is a opponent's worst nightmare in preparing for him. Kyler running backwards, their biggest hope. Kyler running forwards, their biggest nightmare. Because look at what happens when he runs forward. And this is going to be a factor to bring out in the next play, which was Kyler at his worst.
Yep. Just a few plays later.
Right, we're on the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. I mean, with a chance to really blow this thing away.
Also, just real quick here before we go. So goes unblocked up the middle. They ran the blitz. Great play right there. But 74, I think that's Adams right here. We showed the play earlier where Young throws the interception because of sealing the edge kind of situation. 74, and then I think that's Froholt right there. Correct. Their blocks are what basically saved the play right there. Because, guy goes through on a blitz. Sure, they rushed 5, 4 off the right side. That's fine. Right. But those 2 blocks basically allow the play to extend, which then, like you said, allows Kyler to run forward through the hole. And all of a sudden, the blitz has been blown up, and there's no spy to watch Kyler.
And credit Benson coming off of an RPO for getting enough of the blitzer. That's an excellent athletic play by Benson. Got to give him credit to just get a piece of the blitzer at that point to enable Kyler to sidestep it was huge. All right, so now let's see the other one now. I want you to focus on what we saw last week when Kyler did the back, ran backwards and got sacked deep against the Saints. I want you to, okay, they're running it. I'll tell you next time. See the B gap. Just like last week, if Kyler's eyes are forward, under the pressure.
That lost just a couple days before
Watch
Christmas.
what you have right there.
3.
Easy escape up the field direct between Adams and Froholt, who have their men pinned. And under no circumstances do you throw this football. Not with a guy in your face. And if you are going to throw it, you throw it out of bounds to your left. You do not try to throw it down the middle or down the hash like he did here. And it's amazing to me the BS excuses Gannon makes after the game. Oh, he was trying to throw it away. If you're trying to throw it away, you're not throwing it down the middle. I'm sorry. Right. Okay? Your shoulders are squared to throw it down the middle. What are you doing? And I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about momentum. This killed the Cardinals' momentum in the game. Killed right here. We're done now with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. And everything that happens after this is an absolute catastrophe.
Completely shifted the momentum.
All right. And there's no lead too big with Kyler. When he does throw a 4th quarter interception, we don't get burned by it. It's happened time and time again. How about against the Vikings last year? Kyler's playing a great game. Why throw it up in the same kind of panic way? Just throw it up there and Byron Murphy intercepts the ball and the whole momentum of the game changes. How about last year against the Panthers in Carolina? The 4th quarter interception. Unforced.
Wasn't he hit when he threw this interception?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, which is why you're still on the 20-yard line. Kick the field goal, go up 3 scores, keep the momentum. But you already saw, Bryce Young do this. I mean, it's just maddening. Just the panic. The sheer panic with this kind of a lead. It's so careless. And yes, Kyler had a great game to that point. I'm so excited about this. But you got to understand, in the NFL, all a team needs is one little piece of momentum change. And it can avalanche, just like we saw for the remaining 10 minutes and more of that fourth quarter, which was just mind-blowingly bad by the Cardinals. Just awful. And it was a Pyrrhic, victory at the end, because we ended up all this time with our defenders on the field. 3 of the cornerbacks get injured. That's the other thing about these. We'll give you everything you want over the middle. It's just awful football. It's just so wrong. Okay. Also, there's a physical price you pay for that because you have to tackle these guys. And you've got to be on the field for all these plays. Do you know how many plays the Panthers had in this game? 77. You know how many plays the Cardinals had in this game? 48. That is disgusting, especially the way the game started. And especially the way they could get pressure on Bryce Young. They took the pedal off the metal. I mean, the metal off the whatever. How do you say that? They took it off.
The foot off the gas. How about that?
And hadn't learned a single thing about what they did last week to almost lose that game. It's just so frustrating. And Kyler, in the 7th year, we got to expect better than that. Even if you have to take a sack right then, don't kill the momentum. All right. Here's the next one. Here's the first.
This is the Hunter Renfrow touchdown here. Bryce rolling to his right. Finds Mr. Renfrow back right corner of the end
I
zone.
love Garrett Williams in zones. He's got a long way to go in man. So anyone who's saying should be all pro or whatever is just so mistaken. I'm sorry. Sorry to be. But this one he trips on, but he's typically has not been good in man. Not great. Okay, but not great. And that's unfortunate that he got tripped up there. What's the next one? The second Renfrow TD?
Yep, just like that. So just like that, we're back at it again. 2 minutes to go. Play fake. Through double coverage. Hunter Renfrow touchdown. And it took out 2 Cardinals on the same play. But
I mean, Bryce Young. What a play. And what a play call on an RPO.
yeah, I don't know if I would have had the gall to fling it in there like that through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Cardinals around the ball.
RPO.
Yep.
Perfect passing lane. Now, I don't know what happens, whether they get knee knocked. Spuda's coming hard, but unfortunately not at the receiver, more at the passing lane. Now, so
Garrett got it in the knee. I don't know about Buddha, but
or I wonder, on making the move to try to defend it, did he pop something? God, I hope not.
I think Buddha came back in the game at some point before it was over.
Unfortunately, Garrett gets caught in no man's land in terms of leverage. Typically in that situation, the leverage you want to favor is inside leverage because you have a better chance of catching up on outside leverage, particularly against a guy who's not that fast. He's more quick than fast. See, right there, you can already see the windows. He's leaving the window wide open because he's not shading the inside.
Yeah, because look at where he starts here. He kind of starts at the edge of the A on the goal line here. and then 2 steps to the side. He's kind of now in the middle of the A, which in fairness, he has the safety help here, but Buddha, is coming down, playing the run, and then drops back into coverage. And that's just the RPO. I mean, Buddha is kind of the read man on this play here. I mean, this guy is the true RPO read, but they're essentially watching Buddha to see, is Buddha going to commit to the run or is Buddha going to drop back into the pass, basically.
Correct.
And then,
and you can leave Buddha out of that because the Panthers smartly did the opposite of what they did on the other touchdown.
That's right.
They crossed over. They did the cross where Garrett gets tripped up. So no wonder Garrett's a little leery of that happening again. But still, in that situation, if you give up, if you let him cross your face right now inside,
it's over.
You're asking for it.
Yeah.
I mean, and unfortunately, he got. Notice where his helmet is in terms of Renfrow's. Renfrow's is in the inside, and he knows he's got him beat right there. Plants the outside foot and see where his helmet's inside. And then, like you said, you got a defender here in Buddha that you're going to hope can help on the play, but he's too far away.
Well, and the other interesting thing, and I don't want to bag on Williams too much on this play, it's a tough play, but like for example, if they run it where Renfrow, say the play's for McMillan and Renfrow goes to the corner and they cross, these two are going to collide on the play, and then McMillan's going to have basically a wide open run at the end zone underneath. So whichever way it ends up going, the Panthers are probably going to end up scoring. Either it's what happened with Renfrow or it's going to be McMillan underneath on the cross, basically getting a catch and then just fall into the end zone.
Well, here's the thing. All right, what you do to counter this again is you talk and switch. So come back to, okay. So now they're in this again. They're looking over at one another. If they go X, we switch. And, and that might have been the call, actually, because they're playing it clean in the beginning, but there hasn't been a switch. So now they get stuck.
Well, it looks like Williams kind of slipped out of the break there, didn't he?
Well, that would mean a
little bit,
both TDs, he slips. So neither one of them was defended. Here's the other rule of thumb on the goal line is you want to get up and play him closer and cut down the room. The cushion's too much, in my opinion, here.
Well, and that goes back to what we talked about earlier with his
give it up too much. If you're on the goal line instead, it's a whole different play.
Well, yeah, and it goes back to what we said earlier, where he's sliding to his right and cheating towards the corner, basically, on this play. He's expecting Renfrow to go to the corner instead of coming back.
Well, he can't expect that until he goes for the X.
Exactly, yeah.
Is it? And he's playing it too passively. I mean, he's too much cushion. You're just asking for it. I mean, that's the other thing. You can crowd an X play and just tail him and ride his coattail. I mean, you can't get picked off if you're right behind the guy, and you can jump the passing lane after the X comes through. So it was too much cushion and an easy pitch and throw with a wide open passing lane the way that they designed it. Credit to Panthers and Canales for, a nice little, oppo play from what they scored the touchdown last time. Now, this is absolutely unacceptable and inexcusable. Okay, because Cardinals are going to send Mac Wilson Jr. to go block one of their guys. But the problem with that is if you don't see the football, here's what happens. Go ahead.
I mean, I've seen onside kicks get recovered before, but rare is it that they actually hit a guy who's going to block.
Before it gets to the 10-yard where it becomes a live ball. And so under no circumstances do you ever want to have a guy go into the area, the 10-yard area, and particularly without looking for the ball. He's just looking for the man he's going to block. I mean, what a gift wrap.
Given the current NFL rules.
And look what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, pal.
According to the new rules, after they've implemented them,
yep,
you've got a success rate of around 6% on onside kicks.
Right.
I was gonna say, it's so hard to recover.
I'm a little disappointed in our special teams these first two games.
Yeah, there's things they got to clean up. This is, I mean, and look at who the ball's going to go directly to. Michael Wilson. One of the best hands in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is the weird thing because you have to declare the onside kick now. So obviously, you know, you can put more people up in this situation, but I don't understand why they have so few people up on the line. I get the Panthers are spread out on both sides, but I don't understand the formation. I don't understand why Wilson.
Well, they don't want a touchdown recovery. They're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame them for that. You know, it's just if you let the ball go through to Wilson, it's a no-brainer. And it's just unthinkable they weren't coached to do that. Or that if they were coached to do that, Wilson never got the message clear enough. I mean, at that point, I don't know about you, I had to get a ventilator in the game. Everything that could have gone wrong from that Kyler interception forward. I mean, when we get the ball back to try to counter him, there's no running game. There's face mask penalties. There's, you know, can't get anything going. But here's the other thing. When you're letting the offense just control the ball for these long touchdown drives, we said this last week, it freezes your offense sitting there for 15 minutes. You know, trying to, you know, well, how are we? And then it affects them mentally when they score. And now there's pressure on you in a game there where there wasn't pressure, you know, like 15, 20, half an hour earlier. I mean, the psychology all changes, and you have to factor that. You have to know that as a coach, and you have to factor that in. I mean, it's like icing a kicker. You know, you keep your offense just sitting there on the bench, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and now they score again. And we better do something with this now. And now the whole psychology changes quickly, and sometimes it's just really hard to bounce back from that kind of, you know, sudden change in attitude and in circumstances. I'm not making excuses for it, but I think that, you know, there is something to that, is that, you know, as a defense, why don't you want to do everything you possibly can to get your guys off the field and the ball back into the offense's hands? I mean, you know, instead of these, you know, just like, oh, we're just so afraid you're going to pass over our heads, so we're just going to play this soft shell, and you can pass and connect all you want. We're going to make your quarterback look really good. We're just not going to let him throw over the top of us. And it did make their quarterback look really good. Who was the more productive quarterback in the game?
Well, in terms
I mean,
of
this was a story about Bryce Young.
No question.
Yep. And the week before was a story about Spencer Rattler at the end. Everyone was raving about him. So, but Jonathan Gannon did say after the game, this is my fault, mea culpa. I got to do things differently, obviously. And, you know, so good good for JG for saying that. Now we got to see it in action. So, but because wow, if you can be 2-0 and learn this lesson and really, work to avoid this in the future, a lot of great things could happen. So what's next?
Real quick, we have the Josh Sweat roughing the passer call that would have won the game had they not called it, but you get just a replay of the roughing the passer hit.
We'll let Vince was a player at Saguaro High School. Long story tradition. Vince, your reaction to this call?
Well, he broke through the line and just over aggressive, stupid play.
Oh, you think it's deserving?
No.
Right.
No.
I mean, how does he stop his momentum?
He can't, but the refs are going to call that. They call ridiculous pass. I mean, we saw it all weekend. We've seen it every weekend for years. You just cannot lay into a quarterback.
Right.
In any way. Right. And if there's any kind of contact to any part of that quarterback from the neck up, you're going to get a penalty.
Right. Let's see it again. Nothing from the neck up.
No.
I mean, he's just delivering the ball, so you can't say it's a late hit.
Right? I know I don't remember exactly what they called, but I know in the past they've called the body weight thing.
That's what they called.
Yeah.
But the body weight thing, how can you defy gravity?
I guess it's just the idea of let the quarterback go kind of situation. But again, it's just a tackle.
I mean, how do you do that in real time?
Yeah,
I just can't fathom how, what is he right now supposed to let go? And he's falling downwards?
No, I'm with you. That one's a tough call for them to make, especially in that situation where the game is basically over if they don't call it.
It's just another inconsistent call from the refs.
Right. And I don't see him really trying to over pound him with the shoulder either.
Not at all.
He
Not
falls
at all.
And as the gravity would allow him to do. The other thing is that Bryce Young twists his body in such a way so he's not getting tackled on his back, which is smart of him to do. So, or trying not to get sacked completely on his back. All right. Is this the game winner?
This is, after all that, we have ourselves 4th and 15, game on the line, and Calais Campbell comes through with the game-winning sack for the Arizona Cardinals.
They ought to put his name in the rafters right now. I mean, because it's going there, you just know. And
sure,
this is
Ring of Honor ceremony next year, week 6. I'm just guessing, but they'll do it very soon.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you were watching a bit of the Niners game at New Orleans, which I took great fascination in.
Same.
And we'll talk about it. Mac Jones is legit, gang. I think you thought you would get a break. He had his best game as a pro in that offense, so I don't think it matters which quarterback we play. We got to play really well against them, and we'll talk about that later. But I remember the end of that game, and Rattler again was really playing great, and he was rallying him from behind, and I'm just going like, get him, get him, get him. And dang, if Nick Bosa didn't slam the door on Rattler. And I was saying to myself, when was the last time I've seen a Cardinal make a sack to end a game? And one of the things that frustrated me so much about Chandler Jones was for 3 quarters, he was sacking like crazy. 4th quarter, he was not, I can't remember one game he ended on a sack. Unfortunately, I mean, it was unbelievable in between. But this is what you need to win football games. I mean, look at how our Super Bowl ended on a sack when we had a chance for a Hail Mary. Look at how Kurt Warner's career ended in New Orleans in the playoffs on a sack. We're trying to make a comeback there. I mean, sacking the quarterback in those moments is huge. I mean, imagine if Calais didn't get to him. Look at the real estate he would have had to his left, Bryce Young, and the throwing options downfield. Oh, yeah, I don't even want to contemplate them. But this was, unbelievably great timing for Calais. And he got nicked up earlier in the game. He's still back in there, wanting to be on the field when it mattered most. He'd already had a sack earlier in the game. Just a tremendous competitor and the classiest guy. See him with his kids before the game. And, oh, my God, he's just so awesome. Sam, your thoughts on the play?
Well, you have a big-time player making a big-time play. He can still do it. He still got it and knows when to step up and make a play, just like Bosa did for San Francisco.
Yep. You need guys like that. And if this is the new – and Sweaty nearly did it too.
Yes.
For the first time from the edge, the true edge, which he looked like he was really gaining steam. Now, what I want to ask you, Sam, did you notice a considerable difference after the onside kick in the effort the Cardinals made to put pressure on Bryce Young?
I did not. I think other than that play and a couple other plays, I think we reverted to a 4-man pass rush and coverage. And that's what we did the whole second half without adjustment.
Right. I thought I saw a considerable uptick in effort. And
an effort for sure. Yeah. For sure.
And
there's a sense of urgency. They were on their heels.
Correct.
That second touchdown by Renfrow was a gut punch to this team.
Right.
They were officially on the ropes.
Right. And recovering the onside kick was just a nightmare. And now they go down and score, you lose.
Right.
Just unbelievable. Remember, at 10:49 in the fourth quarter, and Kyler's interception, it was 27-3.
Right.
We're now at the 2-minute situation, and it's 27-22.
Yep.
WTF. All the way around.
2 halves.
Yep.
Just like last week.
Yep. And
although they did improve this week. Last week they scored 3 points in the second half. This week they scored 7. So there is improvement there.
There you go. And it was the James Conner touchdown. Can we flip to that? Let's end on another positive note. The James Conner touchdown. It was sweet with Beachum sealing the whole. Oh man, Beachum coming in as an extra tight end. God, I love Beachum. There he is next to Travis Vokalek. Look how he influences him there. Great block by Adams. And ba-boom. Great block by Vokalek, who came up for Tip Raymond. Look at 81, Vokalek. Boom. Look at the block there. Boom. What a wedge play. They had, who is that? 71. Who is 71? As a fullback.
That would be Mr. John Gaines right there. Lining up
Gainsey. Wow, Gainsey is a fullback.
John Gaines, the second.
The second, indeed.
Yes.
And look at him on a kick. kick block.
Part of that too is that obviously, Tip Ryman was out, but how about them putting the offensive lineman in there at the fullback position?
Right.
Just because you lost your fullback, you can still use them in the offense.
I mean, how's that for creativity? I mean, frickin' Petzing can't do shit. That's so wrong. Look at this. Look at the execution.
Capped a 71-yard drive.
Turns out it was a game winner.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Yep. Beautiful, James. I love James Conner.
First touchdown for him of the season.
Yep.
First of many. I would imagine he's going to get double digits by it's all said and done.
Meanwhile, Trey doesn't have one yet. Are we going to go through what we did last year? Waiting how many games for McBride to finally catch a touchdown pass?
Interesting. Yep. Who has our touchdowns? Let's count the ways. Marvin on that mesh play last week. That was the only passing touchdown, right?
I'm trying to remember now. So you had Yeah. I don't think Benson didn't have one, I don't think.
No. He had the long run.
I guess actually Connor had a receiving touchdown
last
week.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. He's got 2 touchdowns. That's right. A shovel pass last week, which was really a great play.
Yep.
I think those were the only 2. Yeah.
Wilson's got one this week.
That's not Petzing being an awful offensive coordinator. I mean, I don't know. It was like blaming Clayton Tune for a preseason game where you gave up 560 yards to the opponent, the Broncos. I mean, like you can't go near, you can't criticize the defense or JG or anything like that. Let's just get after Petzing. It's driving me crazy. I mean, Petzing, and Kyler Murray said it to the crew that he has complete confidence in Petzing, said he's the smartest guy I've ever been coached by, and said his game plans are pristine. They're so smart, and I feel more prepared in this offense than I've ever prepared in my life. That's coming for your quarterback. And Kyler had a really good game. It's hard to get going when your defense is on the field for the first two drives. But after that and some sluggish early stuff, Kyler in the second and third quarters, up until the interception, was playing perfect football. So, that gives you hope. I mean, and here's the thing is, at the end of games, we're used to sort of seeing now Kyler in the 220, 210 passing yard. And that used to be mitigated by, but we also rushed the ball for 200 yards. Now that we're not rushing the ball as well as we have in the past, it now looks more conspicuous, like 220. We should be able to do better than that, and we should. And, because we've seen in the past that Kyler can dial up some 300-yard games. He's got it in him. And we probably need him to do that.
When was the last time he had a 300-plus yard game without his legs?
I can't remember.
Let's see if we can find that answer for you guys. Kyler Murray game logs. Let's go to the 2024 season here. The last 300-yard passing game for Kyler Murray was he had 2 last season. One week 8
Rams
against Miami and week 17 against the Rams, which was a 13-9 defeat. They did win the Miami game though, but the Rams, I'm trying to remember which game that was now. But anyways, they were kind of out.
Probably the first one last season blew him out.
Oh yeah, sorry. The second game was the one where he had 321 passing. But he also had 48 pass attempts in that game, which is second highest of the season, was 45 in the Minnesota game. So.
Yeah, and the weird thing was all those yards and only 9 points, and then the balked off the head helmet pass at the end.
So I think the real answer for you, other than the game where he just had to chuck it because they were behind, is the Week 8 Miami game last season.
Was one of I think his best road game of the season.
Absolutely.
And that was huge turning point in our season.
Yeah.
And the comeback in that game, and Kyler was terrific in that game. I think if Kyler can close better, obviously, and not make momentum changing plays, particularly with leads, and we can close some of this stuff out earlier, we'll be in so much better shape. So we're going to talk about momentum, and I pulled up a little thing Kyle's going to post for you about momentum. Around here, my coaching career, we always called him Uncle Mo. You wanted to get Uncle Mo on your side at all costs, because momentum in sports. Go ahead, Kyle. Let's read that.
All right. So momentum in sports is a self-reinforcing cycle of positive or negative shifts in a team's or athlete's performance, confidence, and emotional state that can influence the outcome of a game. It affects physical, cognitive, and emotional performance, leading to feelings of being, quote unquote, in the zone and boosting a player's belief in their ability to succeed. While subjective, studies have shown momentum to be a real, quantifiable force, with positive momentum in early game stages often contributing more to the final outcome.
Bingo. Sam, you're looking at that. What sticks out to you about it?
Well, applying it to the Cardinals,
right?
They can give you a lesson on how to lose all momentum. He went in at halftime with all the momentum in the world.
Correct.
They came back right at the beginning of the second half, scored their only touchdown. And then you got conservative on defense.
Right.
And I believe they got predictable on offense.
Right.
And shifted all the momentum. And what's really concerning is it's replay of last week.
Right.
And it's you're not going to beat good teams scoring 7 points and a half and 3 points and a half.
Right.
And
now here's the thing, like we were in the zone there for a while, and it looked like we had the whole team believing their ability to succeed. We're just sticking it on them.
Well,
and then just one play got it turned around in the other direction. And who was the most in the zone at the end of this game? Was Bryce Young. He was looking like
Spencer Rattler last week.
Anything, right? But when you give teams hope like that, and you give players hope like that, and you give him some easy throws, and the chance to gain confidence, this is where I'm going to push back against the Gann and bend but don't break defensive philosophy. Is I think you're toying with momentum when you do that. Like you're making average quarterbacks suddenly feel like they're invincible because they can complete passes left and right and left and right and left and matriculate the ball down the field with such success. It's letting them off the hook. Like last year in Minnesota, Rouse came after Sam Arnold as well as anybody has for 3 quarters. And then he takes the pressure off and runs soft zones. And Darnold picks them apart and they win the game. Yesterday, he's pressuring, giving all sorts of looks to Bryce Young. Bryce Young's not handling it well. takes the foot off the gas, and suddenly Bryce Young is the story of the football game down the stretch. So this is how momentum works. How momentum works. Go ahead, Kyle. Let's read this. I'll read it. Physiological and cognitive effects. Gaining momentum can lead to a surge of adrenaline, increased focus, and a reduction in anxiety, improving overall performance. See, anxiety all goes to the team that lost it. Now you come from being confident. We have the momentum. We're pushing. We're doing great. We feel great about ourselves. Suddenly there's this anxiety. Oh, no, they've got it now. What do we do? Psychological impact. Go ahead, Kyle.
Psychological impact. Athletes can experience a winning streak feeling where success breeds confidence, leading to a mindset that fuels more success.
Self-reinforcing cycle.
Positive momentum creates a cycle where small wins lead to greater confidence and motivation, which then leads to more success and so on. And
coexisting momentum.
Positive momentum for one team or player often occurs simultaneously with negative momentum for their opponent, highlighting the bi-directional nature of this momentum phenomenon.
Right. So here's the crux. I mean, the Cardinals have done a really good job of establishing momentum in the first two games. They're 2-0 because of it, and fortunately, they escaped having toyed with momentum too much to where in both games they were in jeopardy, serious jeopardy at the end, at the hands of two hot quarterbacks. That suddenly were now, being able to wheel and deal and had the momentum going for their teams. So, this is where at these junctures in the games, and it's really hard, it's hard to maintain momentum. You have to have an urgency. Like our defense kind of coasted. Unfortunately, in that last drive, they ticked up the pressure and the effort to pressure, knowing the game was on the line. That saved us the game. But what if they hadn't? What if it's the same old let him throw? We could have been in real trouble there. So, momentum is tricky, but once you have it, I think you want to try to do everything you can aggressively, not passively, aggressively or smartly. Like in the case of you either throw that out of bounds of Kyler, or you take the sack there and we kick the field goal. And now we're up 21 points. And maybe at that point, the Panthers players are going like, man, this sucker's over. And, at that point, they probably had reason to. The fact that the interception happens, they get all excited. Uncle Mo jumps over on their side, and suddenly, boom, 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 boom. This is a totally different game. So, momentum, it's tricky and good for you when you've got it. And let's look at this. We've got two teams with momentum heading into San Francisco this week. And if you watched, Sam, what were your thoughts on the 49ers watching them yesterday?
Without Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
And watching Mac Brown, it's another brilliant coaching game by a brilliant coach. One of the best situation play callers.
Yeah.
Play sequencing genius in the league.
Right.
It was a tight game close the whole way, but you talk about a team decimated by injuries.
Yep.
They were fantastic. They were fantastic yesterday.
Yeah. Kyle, can you go look up Mac Jones's stats on the game and his QBR, and just to show folks. I watched the whole game, and I know Mac Jones really well from his time here with the Patriots, and he was a Pro Bowler his rookie year. And then the next year, inexplicably, they saddle him with Matt Patricia and
Joe
Joe
Judge
as his first time ever offensive coordinators.
One of the most incredible decisions any team has ever made. I'm not saying that is for sure what got Belichick fired, but it certainly contributed along the way.
Jones had 3 touchdown passes yesterday.
Yes,
3 different players.
0 interceptions. Now to a banged up receiving core.
With their number 3 receiver literally was signed off the street earlier this week. They brought in Kendrick Bourne.
And Kendrick Bourne and Mac Jones go back to the Patriots, and their chemistry was manifested early in this game.
I didn't realize it until this week. Kendrick Bourne was the leading receiver on that team that went to the playoffs with Mac Jones, which was surprising to me. I didn't realize that at the time, but they've got him back together. So here's the stat line for McCorkle, as I like to call him. 26 for 39. That's a 66% completion percentage, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and average yards per attempt of 8.7, which is really good. 113.1 passer rating, which probably like only Russell Wilson was higher last week than that.
Right.
And then 6 rushing yards as well. So
not
too shabby for McCorkle.
3 sacks. That's something, Mac, his Achilles heel is he's not that swift of foot. But I saw him on bootlegs and waggles yesterday looking just fine. I mean, he's not terrible either. But he's a guy you can hem in the pocket and really get after. And he's not, a quick escape artist the way other quarterbacks are.
But he's good at the play action, and we know how much Shanahan loves running play action.
Oh, absolutely. He's not as savvy in the pocket as Purdy.
Right. He doesn't work the pocket the way Purdy does. But I saw him a few times make quick little shifts and plant his feet and throw yesterday, and I was just like, wow, Mac is really looking good. I mean,
good coaching makes a difference, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And now he's going to be the next Darnold for somebody. You just know because they groomed Darnold. And look at Darnold now. I mean, Darnold played a great game in Pittsburgh yesterday. The irony for me is that for our offense, which was run heavy and play action, Darnold is a nifty fit. I mean, that's his game. And, but Kyler, I got to give Kyler credit. I mean, Kyler come out the blocks in both games, playing sick as a dog in the first week, but he got it together well enough to get the momentum on our side to be good enough. This week, everything was superb up until the backbreaker of a interception that should have been avoided, and I think hopefully will be avoided in future games. So, but lessons learned, and unfortunately, best way to learn those lessons is to win and have to learn them rather than have it cost you, as it did in other games with late interceptions last year and before that even. So, like Robert Saleh, however you say Saleh, I say Salah. He's made a profound difference with their defense already. D. Winters is playing out of his mind. Those 2 linebackers covered, side to side as well as anybody in the pros. And they pick up running backs really well. So, we got our work cut out. They've got their kids up front are playing better than they were last year. They've got a bunch of kids in there playing pretty well. Bosa's looking good and hungry. And Williams, they brush Williams and Bosa in tandems at times. I bet, Sam saw that too, is that Williams' physical presence, his size. So the Georgia kid they took in the draft. So, it's going to be a hell of a challenge on the road, NFC West game. And I think
both starts next week, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep. The NFC West season for us certainly starts.
Sure.
And, now the cornerback situation for us. So what if all three can't play next week? All right. First of all, I was encouraged by Denzel Burke, how he played in the game. Aside from the back-breaking, could have ended the game, but got twisted up, called for a hold, like Max Milton was doing. It just was a different player doing the same thing away from the ball, from even the way where the ball was. Didn't have to do it. Was it a legit penalty? It was a legit penalty. Trey McBride's hook block was a legit penalty. We're like complaining to the refs about legit penalties. Unfortunately, Trey, and that was a play where he didn't need to do it at all either. I mean, this is these penalties suddenly for the Cardinals are concerning. Usually they were much better and more disciplined. Now there's a whole bunch of penalties going on. However, so hear me out on this in the defensive backfield situation. Keitrell Clark played great down the stretch. The moment was not too big for him, so you got those two. Now you got the guy who had the highest coverage grade in the preseason, in Elijah Jones, who I think is as good, as talented as any cornerback we have on our roster. It's just a matter of time, and help this kid get his confidence, because once he's got it, I can attest to this. He is a ball hawk waiting to happen, and he's got big size, and he plays, really good coverage, both in man and in zone. So you got him in the wings. He hasn't been active yet.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised they played Burke over Jones.
Me too.
Although Burke played well, he had 3 pass deflections. Yeah, he also he had a terrible roughing the passer again. I don't think it was a good call,
right?
But it negated a strip sack by Collins.
Yeah,
but he played well, and Clark played terrific. He had a pass breakup. I think on 3rd and 15 with just a few seconds left, and that was huge. I think that was the play right before Calais got his game-winning sack. Clark made a huge play there.
He did, and he talked great about it after the game and how he keeps his head in the game, whether he's playing or on the sidelines. And huge test. I've always loved this kid and was so happy he made the team. I'm so glad they didn't cut him.
Me too.
That's good. Then you got Darren Hall, who we've seen is a playmaker. Yeah. So, we got guys in-house. And, if necessary, Dadrian Taylor-Demerson.
That's right.
Is a do-all D-back. He can do it all. So we may not be as in rough shape as you think. And at corner, if we're going
to have more injuries,
hopefully we get all 3 of those guys back at some point this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about Will Johnson's groin or abdomen. I know he got nailed in the ribs on that one tackle, and he was writhing in pain because of that. But it might have affected his groin too when he, got nailed. So that might be a day-to-day thing, but it looked to me like for Max, like he came right down on his kneecap, tackling the big kid receiver from Arizona. How do you say his name?
Tetioa McMillan.
Yeah, McMillan.
Tetaroa, I believe is how it's
Tetaroa. There you go.
All right. So
just like it sounds.
I just call him Tet.
It's good he chased him down because he was off to the races. I mean, what an athlete that kid is. Oh, my God. I mean, I thought we did a pretty good job on him, except for that one play over the middle, and then that was the play that Will tackled. It came from behind and tackled him. So, and then got, speared in the ribs from behind by one of his own players. Excuse me. It was Max who came from behind and tackled him. And he made a good tackle, but he came right down on his kneecap. And I thought maybe that could have been, the kneecap could have popped in some capacity there, because it was like, boom. It wasn't it was like, boom, on the turf. Now, in the old days, Sam and I used to play with turtle pads. We'd have a knee pad to protect on direct blows to the knee. Today they don't mess with them. There's no pads down there.
Right.
So I think the impact at that high speed on that big a receiver, making that tackle with the knee coming down. Max did a pray sign after the game, hoping that he's going to be okay. So, but he left the building on crutches and I think in a boot or a leg cast or protector guard or whatever. And then I don't know about Garrett Williams. His looked weird because, like I said, either he ripped something coming out of that break, or he got clocked by Buddha right on that knee, and suffered whatever damage that was. But that was hard to figure out which of the two that is. But gosh, just hoping like crazy that it's not a long-term thing for these guys, and that they can, that they're contusions rather than tears or things like that, or injuries they can come back with within a 4-week period.
And this isn't Williams' first knee injury. He's suffered knee injuries throughout his career in college as well. I wonder what knee it is.
Yeah, it's the left knee.
Yeah, well.
And was his knee at Syracuse the right knee? Or was it the left knee? I wonder. Maybe Kyle can figure that out while we're still talking about these corners. But yeah, I think we still have talent in the building. I don't think we have to get so concerned we got to sign guys off the street yet. I'd like to see the other guys work out first. They were in our system and they know they've been running it every day, rather than try to rush a guy in who hasn't been in the system and who's probably not as in good football shape, like Asante Samuel Jr. or something like that. Also, there's some other. I like that kid Stephen Gilmore we had in preseason. I was surprised they didn't hang on to him. He's a slot guy and he's pesky. And I would love to see them bring him back to the practice squad. I think he can help us in man coverage. I don't think he's a great zone player, but he's certainly, if you want to put somebody on the slot like Pearsall, a pretty quick slot, he's a guy I think can hang with him. So, but yeah, it's something to look closely at this week. But I don't think it should cause us to panic, particularly the way that Burke and Clark held up at the end of this game and played well under such tense circumstances. And the way that our style of defense is and how much zone it is and mix up of man and coverages and disguises, I think that I don't think we have to be too concerned that our corners are going to be just terrible from now on. I don't see that. So
especially with Hall and Jones in the wings, I want to see these young guys get an opportunity and grow and develop. And speaking of Williams, his previous torn ACL was to his left knee during his senior year in college.
Oh shit!
So
yep,
that's another injury to the same knee. I don't know.
It looked he was grabbing his left knee, right, Sam?
Yep.
I mean, and I couldn't tell if it was whether he was crushed on it by Buddha's attempt, to come over the top, or whether it gave out on him prior. But man, that would be a rough blow because his career is really ascending, and he's one of the best zone covers we've ever had. He's a great kid. He's super smart. And I think he was just starting to make some progress in man coverage that, if he gets that figured out, could be a Pro Bowler, a perennial Pro Bowler. But he's mentally everything you want. He's got the physical skills to be one of the best. He's not a blazer, but he's fast enough, and he's
quick.
He's quick. Yep. He's got the quickness. So, and he made a great pass break up the other day. And I'll end on this note, or actually I got to end on a couple other notes, but if you've been reading my articles, I have this pass defense barometer thing that I've been on for a couple of years of charting every team's pass deflections and interceptions per game. And the more you have, the more you realize you're getting to the football. And last week we finished second in the NFL with 9. 0 interceptions, almost 1 was called back, but then we had 9 pass deflections, which is probably more than that we had in the first 6 games last year combined. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just such a big noticeable difference. Well, yesterday we had 1 interception and another 9 pass deflections. That makes 10. And, so we even increased from first week to second week in the pass barometers. I haven't looked up the other teams yet. I'm going to put that in perspective during the week and keep talking about this on a weekly basis on Red Rain blog. So you can look forward to that, and see where we stand. I think we're probably going to be in the top 3 again. So given that, so that's a really exciting thing. Another so I'll mix up that with the not so exciting thing is our run offense. It's not the same. And my fear has been, I thought in the beginning, well, the one way we could sort of compensate for losing Clayton Adams was whether Petzing was really the driving force of this, of the offensive line, in conjunction with Clayton Adams, or if Adams was really the main driving force. After 2 games, it looks to me, unfortunately, like Adams was the bell cow, leading the way for that offensive line play. I thought it was a little bit improved this week, technically, but they're not getting off the ball and not whooping up the way they were doing consistently the last 2 years. And I'm just wondering how that's going to affect the offense. It certainly has affected them late in both of these games. Whereas in past years, we were able to pound the ball and get some first downs and run clock. Now we don't look like we got it in us the way we have in the past. What do you think, Sam?
We had under 100 yards rushing yesterday.
Yeah.
For a rushing team, for a brilliant rushing offense, I don't understand that. We haven't been able to run the ball in the second half of either game this season.
Correct.
And I understand we got conservative on defense and predictable on offense in the second half. But here's another game where we saw our opponent make halftime adjustments that we did not respond to. Both teams, Saints and Panthers, had great second halves. Panthers scored 19 points and held the ball most of the second half. We scored 7 in the immediately at halftime, and then nothing the rest of the third and fourth quarter. The question is, are we adjusting? Are we making situational play calling, sequencing our plays on offense and defense?
Right.
Or are we getting out-coached in the second half?
Right. I think we're getting out-coached, and I think that, we're like playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
Oh,
and there's
for
the
sure.
big difference, right? And in doing that, we're losing the momentum. But
John Madden famously said the only thing defense prevents is a win.
right,
Who can say it better than that?
exactly. But here's been my worry too. Now we got a much better game. Good news on defense from the defensive interior yesterday, particularly from Calais. Still haven't seen almost anything from Darius, but
He had 1 tackle the whole game.
yeah,
No sacks, no hurries.
right,
And they moved them all over the line.
right. That's a work in progress still. I'm not quitting on him in the least, but they got to figure him out and get him some momentum going. I think Dalvin Tomlinson played a better game, much better game this week than last week. LJ Collier, unfortunately, who was playing pretty well, he's nicked up. PJ Mustipher was in there on a couple plays at nose tackle. Stills is maybe our most disruptive run stopper right now, and he's playing strong. So we're going to need probably to bring up someone from the practice squad for Collier this week. Maybe Elijah Simmons. That could be interesting. So that at least, and we stopped their run game. They only have 49 yards rushing, so we outgained them. Now they had to come from behind and hardly run at all. Down the stretch, they were passing the ball and why not? Because you had guys you could throw open. But that was a really good turn in this game. Remember, Chuba Hubbard had our number last year, and that was a key for me coming into the game. And Chuba Hubbard had a touchdown on a swing pass where looked like Burke got stuck inside on his own, playing his man, thinking it was man. The announcers thought it was his own based on what the other guys were doing, and there was no one in that flat. And Hubbard got an easy touchdown off that, which was disappointing. But Hubbard did not run wild for 153 yards away or 52 yards away he did last year. And that was a huge key in the game. So that was the good news. But yeah, getting back to our offensive line, we probably need to reconfigure what the strength of this team is now offensively. And maybe pass to set up the run now instead of run to set up the pass. I'm in favor of that. And, the other thing is a nice quick pass to a running back is as good as a running game.
No question. Especially our running back.
Yeah, and we got 3 dandies in a passing game with Connor is great receiver. So is Benson has a way. I mean, he's got the body, he's got the quickness, he's got the burst, and he's got good hands. So, keep an eye on Benson. I think he's a sneaky asset out of the backfield. And we know DeMercado, who didn't play much yesterday, but DeMercado's really good at it too. And Bam Knight got some action in the return game yesterday, so he was activated, which was good to see. We didn't see Simi Fehoko on the offense as much. He's a guy to get involved, I believe, and because I think he's but Higgy Bear. Wow.
What a great game.
He was fantastic. I mean, he had 2 catches for 45 yards, like 22.5 average. And the way he ran physically and hard, and I mean, This is what I was hoping and praying for, that they would draft Brock Bowers for, was to get a tight end opposite Trey McBride who can make plays like that. Whoa. Now, so I think this, and Petzing's a smart guy. I think you do with what your players do best, right? So, and you adapt to them. Let's see if Petzing does that this week.
Well, and then the flip side of all of that is that Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't catch a single pass in the first half. Two passes all day. Longest pass was 27 yards. That pair, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., needs to connect on deep throws on a weekly basis so we can get the defenses to back off from the run game. And that's going to change our passing game. And that's going to improve. That's the most, in my mind, that's the most important thing this team needs to do in order to increase and improve their passing game. Right. Those two are not connecting. Not a pass, not a reception in the entire first half. Two receptions in the entire game.
Yep.
That's almost as disappointing as Darius Robinson's play on defense.
Right. Yeah. I don't think it matters as much when you're, if the whole game you didn't catch a ball and we won 30-3, I don't care. Suck it up for the team, because it doesn't matter. But seeing as we didn't close it out, and seeing as we have this great weapon now, why not use them more? All the more reason to use them in those moments when you can put away a team and not let them hang around and not give momentum back to them. So I think in those moments, and they were starting to get him the ball in the second half, which was a good thing. That crossing route was awesome. Loved him on that. So they'll do more of that. I'm not worried about that. And plus, Marvin dropped a ball that I thought was thrown really well at the sideline. It was up high, but Marvin has great hands. He should have caught that.
Yes.
That was on him. So, but here's the thing, and I wrote about this before the game, and it's probably, I got to write about it more because on Sundays people don't usually tend to read articles. But I was talking about the Cardinals, like for offensive line play. If Petzing's not an offensive line guru, all we really have is the rookie from Ohio State, right? So, I mean, we don't have an offensive advisor. I mean, we don't have anyone who's going to take Justin Fry and pull him aside and go, no, well, this is where Clayton Adams had things right, and this is where we got to correct. And that's really troubling to me. You know who the Panthers had at halftime in that locker room? How about a guy named Jim Caldwell?
Oh, yeah.
Think he knows a little something about offensive football and offensive adjustments and quarterbacks? I mean, he's got 21 years NFL experience and like 4 years as a head coach. And he had a winning record with the Lions. And amazingly, the Lions fired him with a winning record. Then on defense, ever heard of a guy named Dom Capers?
Yeah.
I mean, so you got Dom Capers advising Ejiro Evero, who I think is a young rising star in this league. And he's a senior defensive assistant with 38 years of experience. So let me ask you this. We have a defensive line coach in Winston DeLatabadero who's fresh out of college. Who's a mentor to him?
We have no mentors on the coaching staff.
I mean, Gannon's not a defensive line guy. Rallis is not a defensive line guy, right? So they're Gannon's cornerbacks, and Rallis is linebackers. And to Rallis's credit, he's getting pretty good linebacker play, from Akeem Davis Gaither. really coming on, and Mac Wilson's been making big plays. The near sack, and the forced interception was huge. And he's a spiritual leader, and he stepped up and made some plays. When I watch him, because I watched him carefully, because I really know he hasn't played Mike since college, which really worries me because of the 10,000 hour rule. He's not getting to the sidelines the way that D. Winters and Fred Warner are, and that's been my worry. But he's playing his butt off. I just don't know if he's instinctive enough or seasoned enough or athletic enough to be consistently good in the other areas of run support and in pass coverage. But so far, he hasn't been, tremendous liability at all. I mean, he's led the team well. So, but where are we getting beat on all these passes over the middle? Someone texted out yesterday, Cardinals middle's open sign are letting the middle be open. So that's been an issue, and I think something we can correct. But that's my point, is that if you don't have guys behind them who know anything, where are they going to get the proper adjusting done or advice done? And it's of concern to me. I mean, sheesh.
The lack of experience in the coaching staff has been a bone of contention for me for several seasons now.
Right.
I just don't understand it. I do understand a young coach wanting to surround himself with young coaches, create a coaching tree, and win with rising stars. So I went back and looked at Sean McVay's coaching staff and Kyle Shanahan's coaching staff when they became head coaches in 2017. So Sean McVay, who was the youngest head coach at 30 years old, brought in Wade Phillips, Matt LaFleur, and Greg Olson. That's over 100 years of coaching experience. Shanahan brought in John Embry, Bobby Turner, who coached with Shanahan's dad, Robert Saleh, and Rich Scangarello, who had 18 years of experience as an offensive coordinator.
Right.
Now, those are the two brightest minds in football. Yeah. And they see the need and the results of bringing in experienced coaches. I do not understand its borderline arrogance of this coaching staff to completely dismiss all the options they have out there with position coaches who are just looking for work. You don't want to hire them full time. Use them as consultants. Have them send you a tape breaking down plays at the end of the season, or at the end of each game. I mean, this is ridiculous. You brought in an offensive line coach from college, and you've got offensive line problems immediately. Same with the pass rush. You have immediate issues with the pass rush. Now, I'm not so concerned about the defensive line because you've got Calais on there and Tomlinson on there. They're basically coaches on the field. But you have an offensive line right now that's underperforming considering how well they did last year. Last year, they were the strength of the team. They may be the weakness of the offense this season.
I think what I'd do, I think Evan Brown is struggling, and I would move Isaiah Adams over to left guard and get Will Hernandez back in there.
Well, they need
get Miho back where he belongs. And I also would look very heavily about making a change at right tackle. Jonah Williams seems to he's not finishing his blocks, and he looks stiff on pass pro and edge prone to be, guys coming around the edge. He doesn't seem to be able to have that shift motion that you need. Maybe he's favoring that knee, his right knee, which I wouldn't blame him really. But I'm curious I'm very confident in Kelvin Beachum. I've always been confident in Beach. if we wanted to try him. And I'm also curious about Josh Fryer, the Buckeye bookend, who played really well for us in preseason and is in lockstep with what Justin Fry wants, obviously. So we got options there, but I'm very concerned about Evan Brown, the two experienced guys, Evan Brown and Jonah Williams. On the other side of the ball, here's the thing, I mean, I love Winston, Debo, love his spirit, love his passion, and you can see why he's on a fast track to be a really good coach. It's just does he have the experience at the pro level to turn around to set Darius Robinson on track? And I would say, that now he's he has Darius in his hands. So far, the veterans are going to do, like you said, what they're going to do. But, for a young player who you've invested a first-round draft pick in, and you invested another first-round draft pick in Walter Nolan III, you would think you'd want to get an experienced guy to help. And we have that in Calais. So, and here's the thing and this is what I wrote in that article yesterday too, about improving the improvements we needed to make this week, is that these coaches need to have an impact with the young players, and if not, we've got to get it from the veterans themselves. I mean, and to Rouse's credit, the defense really started to turn around when Buddha got involved, and Rouse asked Buddha to get involved. So those two are really clicking. Now you get Calais in there, getting him involved with Mac, Wilson Sr., one at each level, having their input and being able to help coach the younger kids, because you got first-time NFL coaches at these position spots. That's huge. And then on the other side, I think having Jacoby Brissett in the building is now bigger than I ever imagined, because they didn't make any hiring of veteran offensive assistants. So, and he's been around the block many times, and he grew up in a Belichick system with Josh McDaniels and Bill O'Brien and whatnot. So that's huge to have that veteran. You got James Conner, a 30-year-old veteran who's still in great shape and has great attitude and great hustle. You got James Conner. You got Beacham. Talking about being around the block, the guy's just been so reliable for so long. So the good news is we have the veteran leadership, and I think that can carry this team a long way, as long as the coaches don't get in, incorporate them in their game planning and in their adjustments. Like at halftime, hey, Calais, how are we going to adjust up front here? Hey, Jacoby, what's your advice on, should we come out throwing? Should we come out running?
So
serious.
So what you're suggesting is Calais Campbell goes to Rollis and says, or JG, and says, why the hell are you being so conservative in the second half?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Correct. Like we would go, knock, knock. Hey, coach, can you send an ambulance to my house every fourth quarter?
Well, how about our quarterback doing that? How about our quarterback doing that?
Oh, I know. So, yeah, it's exactly that. Now, let me just say one. I'll end on this note. Then I'm going to ask you and Kyle for your parting shots. As a teacher, I know firsthand that it's called, for me, philosophically, retreating light. Like a coach sets a tone of cooperation, and coach is a facilitator. Because let's remember who's playing the game. The players are playing the game, not the coach anymore. So they're the ones out there in the thick of the action who see things better than anybody does from the sidelines. All right. So, but I've seen this happen is when there's a shift and you get to the students, in this case, players, to the point where they want to run the curriculum themselves and the ball's in their hands. Best case scenario ever. I mean, one of the daunting tasks I had as a teacher was I was asked to teach an AP English course that had never been offered at the school, AP English Language and Composition. It's a course in rhetoric. And I called up my AP mentor, who was the greatest teacher I've ever seen in high school. And I asked him, what's the best advice you can give me? He said, Mitch, it's easy. I said, what's up, Trev? Tom Trevisani. He said, put them in groups, give them the questions, and let them hash it out. And then get back together as a class, and then go around the groups and discuss what they came up with. He said, you'll be tempted to do a lot of the teaching for them. He said, but they won't learn it as well that way. They'll learn it better if you put it in their hands. And frickin' A, that first year the scores came back, I couldn't believe how good they were. Because it's exactly what I did. I put them in the groups. I gave them the questions, the practice questions. I made them, I mean, learning comes from working together more than it does from being talked at. So I'm really encouraged by that. I think that there is a moment when a team, like the Bucs did a few years ago, when they just said, Tom, okay, take over. And he took over, and they won like 8 games in a row, all the way to finishing the season and through the playoffs. Now, that's Tom Brady, but still, with Arians' ego and the balance, he even said, all right, I'm going to try it. By the way, a guy who was there yesterday coaching for the Panthers, give a shout out to Harold Goodwin. He's their offensive run game coordinator. It was not a great thing for Harold's run game, but they were behind so much from the beginning they had to pass. Yeah. But his line held up pretty well in pass pro. So nonetheless, I mean, there's a guy with experience, a lot of experience, and Super Bowl experience. So, yeah, if that's the scenario that happens here, this could really be exciting. And if the players, apparently Gann gets an A for keeping an open door, right? So the 2 criteria for the coaches' A's on the on the national surveys report cards are: do you make efficient use of our time, and is your door open for a conversation? Door open, that's Gannon. He gets A's for that. That's his thing. He wants to talk to everybody. So, and then efficient use of time, players seem to appreciate they obviously appreciate what he does with their time. So, but it could be really something if, you got Buda Baker there, such a bona fide leader. Buda knows stuff, and so does Calais. I mean, the combination of those two with Sweat now on the edge, I mean, I could see this could be amazing. What do you think, Sam?
Oh, there's no question. And the best thing about Gannon is that open door. And he needs to have an open door because he doesn't have position coaches who have the insight and the experience to diagnose issues with his team. So he has to listen to his players, and he's got to listen to his leaders. And probably every coach needs to do that. And it's great that Gannon has done that. And I hope he listens to his players, and I hope his players can walk in the door and say, hey, coach, you're way too conservative, and the offense is way too predictable in the second half. And we should be putting teams away,
right?
Not sitting back on our heels waiting for them to make it a close game.
Correct.
I mean, though we've had 2 game-saving plays the last 2 weeks.
Correct. It's come down
needed
to that.
2 game-saving plays the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
One by Budda Baker, one by Calais Campbell, too.
Yeah.
Well, JT.
And Jalen Thompson. That's right. The one in the end zone.
Poked it out, Budda undercut it. The 2 of them together caused that pass breakup. And oh my God, what a great! When you saw it in slow mo, you're just like, "Wow, JT, how he got his hand in there is like a thief in the night." And Budda coming underneath him to create this, uncertainty of the landing for Juwan Johnson, who made a great TD catch yesterday. I don't know if you saw that in his game against the Niners. So, and Kyle, what else you got for us?
Well, to your point about the open door and players being engaged and things like that, another part that plays a factor is that, in year one, that there's a lot of roster turnover. This is a new voice, new group. Now you have continuity. The offense is basically the same group that was there last year, save for a couple people. You have defensive players that have spent a lot of time together now. There's a level of continuity that makes it easier to be like, hey, you trust me, I trust you. We've been through battles before. We've had conflict. We've had resolution. Now that you have a group of guys that have some level of familiarity with each other, right, and, aren't worried about, am I going to be on this team come next year? Or am I going to, what is this thing going to look like? Or I'm learning the new coach. These guys have basically been together for, call it 2 years now, minus a couple of young guys that have come in and out. This is basically that group. So having that continuity now makes me feel like it's got to be now or never, right? If you're going to have these conversations like you're talking about and have players be engaged, it's got to be now, because if it doesn't work out this year, they're going to probably move in another direction in some way, somehow. So right, it does feel like now is kind of that inflection point where you have a couple wins, you see where there's need for improvement, and like all the points you outlined, if you can get players engaged like that, you can really start cooking something up.
Yeah. Yeah. And, there are little things like, if I had a chance to talk to Kyler, all right, you make a late game interception. Don't sit there like Grumpy Cat and mope. Get up. Don't even sit down. Go over to your defense. Say, hey, guys, please have my back. I screwed up there. Mea culpa. I was over. I shouldn't have thrown that pass. I need you. Come through for me, baby. Let's be a team. Let's keep momentum on our side. I'm sorry I missed that point. Really glad I got the earlier one. We got the lead. You can be a leader and out, being a positive catalyst. And I think it's a poor look for the team to look back there and he's just like, what the frick? Yeah. I think you got to do something like that. And there are ways to, try to, when you feel a momentum slipping, like the chart that we read, Kyle, do you remember the part that say adjustments? Mm-hmm. Critical adjustments can be made by coaches at key times to keep it back on your momentum or switch it.
I haven't seen that.
Yep.
I haven't seen any of that. What does it say to a young team when you've got a big lead and you completely go conservative and predictable in the second half? What does that say to a young team about taking their foot off the gas? You mentioned how the team got more aggressive after the onside kick. Well, I mean, what were they waiting for all second half?
And, Sam, it's to the players' incentive. Let's get the frick off the field as soon as we can. Exactly. Let's save our bodies. Let's save our minds. Let's save this game. Let's save the momentum. So, Kyle, a great way for us to end is for you to read the last part we didn't get to. I'm so glad I thought of it. Go ahead. Read this out.
Some examples of momentum triggers: on-field events, dramatic plays, scoring runs, big shots, or crucial defensive stops can all trigger a momentum shift. Also, errors and setbacks. Conversely, an unforced error or failure to convert a critical opportunity can lead to negative momentum. And finally, strategic decision. Coaches can utilize timeouts or strategic substitutions to halt negative momentum and attempt to capture it for their team.
As he was reading that, Sam, weren't you going like, check? I saw that yesterday. Check. Yep. I saw that yesterday. Check, check, check. And it gets down to the strategic decisions often because they matter. The fact that once the Panthers were just going down the field left and right, there weren't adjustments.
None.
They just let it continue. It's disappointing. And at least Gannon said after the game, we got to do something different. So if it came to this, for this to happen, to make this sweeping change, which I think is huge, then so be it. And to be 2-0 and have to make this kind of change is kind of sweet, isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. On to the Niners. We'll be talking about that this week and profiling their personnel versus ours on Red Blog. We do that every week. And, I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be really fascinating to see how the Cardinals go in there at Santa Clara the way they did last year. Remember, it was Mac Wilson who caught that crazy interception off Purdy, the deflection interception last year. Helped seal that win over there. That was such an awesome game. Huge. So I'm fired up. And I know our guys here are. Sam's fired up. He's 2-0. We have our worries, but hey, when you're 2-0 and you got a chance to learn from things, great things could happen. And Kyle too. He seems fired up. We're gonna get him in a Cardinals hat one of these days. So but he's keeping us guessing. He's playing it coy. And he's toying with us the way the Cardinals have been toying with momentum lately. Yeah. But he's coming out a winner on the other side. So thank you, guys. And thanks for all of you for your support and continued interest in Red Rain. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. And in the interim, like it did yesterday, may the confetti of Red Rain shower down on you into a red sea. Red Rain.